Hello and welcome to Kai Chi Alchemy. You can call me Katchi. This is a space of love, y'all. Welcome or welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the cosmos today. We're actually going to be doing a reading from the Ringing Cedars of Russia series today from book 1, Anastasia. Let's see, what's the chapter called? Sleeping Under One's Star. I feel that Anastasia is very much the star archetype, very much the star card, the Aquarian archetype. It's even usually depicted as this like blonde Caucasian woman naked in the nature. Oh man, am I gonna get flagged for that? Never really know. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the channel so that we can kind of do whatever we want to and not have to worry so much about the YouTube algorithm gods and the censors and whatnot. I am gonna light a little bit of incense today. This is actually from Bear Blend. I don't know if that's gonna be reversed for you guys. And there's a whole bunch of herbs in here. So I think that I'm just gonna read off the whole list and see if those are any confirmations for some of you guys. Maybe one of those days I'll get like the whole TikTok vibe going and put the little subtitles on there so you can find the confirmations before you even listen to the message. It was windy and then it came back. Okay, Scorpio may be a confirmation for you, as well as peppermint, mullein, red raspberry, lavender, mugwort, rose petals, damiana, catnip, calendula, lobelia, vanilla bean. Okay, and before we start the chapter, I'm gonna have you take a deep breath here, connect in to that quiet, still part of you that is beyond your will and your ego and your identity and all of these things, your true identity, sinking into that part of yourself that is the observer. And I'm going to splay out these cards. Focus your energy here. Okay. On the bottom of the deck, we've got the sub-occipitals. Keep your head up and keep breathing easy and try and keep the balance. Keep your eyesight level. Keep your vision steady, right? And then we also got muscles of the forearm and hand. Okay, so that's about giving and receiving energy, giving and receiving love. That's about the heart chakra. There's Gemini energy there. There's also a little bit of Cancer energy. There's like 3 of Cups energy coming off of this. And there may be, something more practical about your forearms and your hands that is relevant to you. And then we got specifically spinalis. Here's a picture of it in place. And it's just kind of showing one side and the other side. So this person does not have scoliosis. It's just for the purposes of the example of showing one side. Okay, unilaterally, lateral flexion of the vertebral column to the same side, bilaterally extending the vertebral column. So this is about motion through your side body and also about extension through your back, which again is about looking up, about finding your balance, about juggling, right? Hands and forearms. Spinalis. The attachment or the insertions are going to be in the thoracic and cervical spine. So there is something here about like the heart chakra going into more of this throat area, which has a lot to do with like your hormonal regulation, your voice, speaking from the heart, perhaps. And spinalis, I mean, really, I'm just getting a lot of serpent vibes, a lot of like kundalini energy there. I think I'm just gonna leave it there because I could go in and interpret that forever for y'all. This is an interesting energy. Chapter 12, so 12/12 may be of significance to you if this message is resonating for you. Better now than later. Okay, and this is going to be quite a short chapter actually. Might even be a longer message than the actual reading. So chapter 12, sleeping under one's star. I have already mentioned how animated Anastasia becomes when talking about plants and people who communicate with them. I thought that, living in nature as she did, she might have studied nature alone, but she also possesses information about planetary relationships. She literally feels the celestial bodies. See for yourself what she has to say about sleeping under the stars. Once plants have received information about a specific person, they embark upon an information exchange with cosmic forces. But here they are simply intermediaries, carrying out a narrowly focused task involving one's fleshy body and certain emotional planes. They never touch the complex processes which, out of all the animal and plant world on the planet, are inherent only in the human brain and on human planes of existence. Nevertheless, this information exchange they establish allows man to do what he alone can do, namely, interact with the intelligence of the universe, or more precisely, to exchange information with this intelligence. An altogether simple procedure permits you not only to do this, but also to feel the beneficial effect of such interaction. Anastasia described this procedure as follows. Pick an evening when weather conditions are favorable and arrange to spend the night under the stars. You should situate your sleeping bag close to raspberry or currant bushes, or to beds where cereal plants are growing. You should be there alone. As you lie with your face to the stars, do not close your eyes right away. Let your gaze, physically and mentally, wander across the celestial bodies. Do not become tense while thinking about them. Your thought must be free and unencumbered. First, try to think about those celestial bodies which are visible to your eye. Then you can dream about what you treasure in life, about the people closest to you, people for whom you wish only good. Do not attempt to even think at this point about seeking revenge or wishing evil upon anyone, for that might have a negative effect on you. This uncomplicated procedure will awaken some of the many little cells dormant in your brain, the vast majority of which never wake even once during a person's whole lifetime. The cosmic forces will be with you and help you attain the realization of your brightest and most unimaginable dreams, will help you find peace in your heart, establish positive relationships with your loved ones, and increase or call into being their love for you. It is useful to try repeating this procedure a number of times. It is effective only when carried out at the location of your constant contact with the plant world. And you will feel it yourself as early as the next morning. It is especially important to go through this procedure on the eve of your birthday. To explain how all this works would take too long right now and is not important. Parts of the explanation you would not believe, other parts you would not understand. It can be discussed much more quickly and easily with people who are already trying it and feeling its influence on themselves, since the information, once received and verified, will facilitate the reception of any information that follows. Awesome. Thank you. Next time we're going to be reading chapter 13, A Helper and Mentor for Your Child. That's going to be a fun one. I really liked this chapter today because it brought me to confront, again, something that I've struggled with since I was very young, as far as feeling very negative about human beings, especially in comparison to the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom and the other forms of intelligence that we have on this planet. I know that in general, in some ways, it seems that Homo sapiens have a whole lot of arrogance and a whole lot of entitlement and a whole lot of these things, but it was really only through the Ringing Cedars of Russia series that I ever started to open my mind to the thought that there was some value in humanity, and there is some value to the differences that we have and the way that we see the world and the way that we process information, and that it could not only be used as a weapon and as a detriment to the world, but actually allow us to become great stewards and great watchers and observers and great alchemists and great caretakers of the plant and animal kingdoms, of this planet, of this space that we find ourselves in. And so yes, it's a great responsibility. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot to have put upon you by being born in a human body. But it's also a great blessing and a great honor and incredible capacity that we can use for whatever we can dream of, good or bad. And we do, and we have. And that's kind of the beauty that I see in people using their power for not so great purposes, because it all leads to the same place of exposure and discovery and light being shown on things. I don't think that there's any benefit to trying to hide the ugly, nasty sides of who we are as a people, but the more that we're able to do that without getting bogged down in like self-hatred and negativity and a downward spiral, the more we can just use it as information and learn from it and move into this place where we can devote our lives to creating a beautiful paradise garden on earth, and each of us taking responsibility for a small piece of that wherever we are, wherever we can, wherever we're able to develop that day-to-day interaction with the plant world. Maybe it's even like the corner of a public park or something for you. I know when I first started on this journey myself, not just when I read the books, but when I really started to embody the teachings myself, I lived in New Orleans, and I had quite a lot of free time because I was doing independent study. And so I would take my bicycle and I would ride it all the way out to City Park, and I would go to the same places every day, and I would find these plants in different seasons and observe them and interact with them and eat some of them and taste some of them and smell some of them and develop relationships with the plants and the animals, with the soil and the microorganisms and the insects and the things that were out there. And maybe you have a place like that even closer, more close by, even if you don't have a lot of free time. Maybe it's a little patch of like an abandoned lot on the end of your block, and that's what you're comfortable with, what you have access to. I'm really getting such a strong energy around routines right now, and it makes sense because we just had a Capricorn new moon and all of these planets moving through Capricorn at the same time, very, very uniquely, very, very strangely. And so now is a time to get really practical, and people will find the advice within the Ringing Cedars of Russia series, if they read it with a certain mindset, to be quite out there and quite esoteric and quite out in fairyland, and it doesn't matter. But it really does if you pay attention, if you listen. You don't need to believe in magic the way that we think about it in the world today. It is the concrete, it is the gnosis, it is the experience of divinity through that connection with the things that are here to help foster that connection in you. And I believe that the reason we have so much ugly stuff going on in the world today, oh, is that wind gonna knock us over? I believe that the reason we have so much ugly stuff going on in the world today is because there are so many people who have had these relationships and these experiences extracted from their lives, prevented from even being a thought in people's minds, even being an expectation around what it is to be a human and what it is to have a life. And okay, I know that chapter was like maybe 5 minutes, and we're already almost at 17 minutes on the clock. So as you can tell, I feel very passionately about this subject. I will be continuing through the entire first series of chapters before I really, really settle down into a new focus area. And I believe that I will get through all of them. So please let me know if you have any particular questions, any particular interests, any particular priorities in regards to that. But it's happening one way or the other, because that is what's important to me and what I have found to be valuable through all of my experiences of human life and the potential it has is it's always the more simple things. It's always about watching a ladybug crawl over a piece of grass. Like it's all about the things that maybe you did, or at the very least your great 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 grandmother did when they were a little tiny kid. And so the more that we can make space to step into that part of ourselves again, even while we have to balance all this Capricorn energy and all of these practical things and all of these old outdated systems, and we have to find the balance. We've got to juggle it. We can't give up. We have to stand up straight. We have to hold on, but let go when we need to, and then hold on to the next thing. And the thing that stays consistent within all of that is our connection to God, to the universe, to the plant kingdom, to the planets, to this intelligence that runs through the cosmos and animates everything that exists. And that we as human beings have an incredible capacity to co-create with and to impact with our own desires and visions and dreams. So maybe think a little bit about what you want and what you need, what you're holding on to, what you're letting go of, what you're balancing, and what you're looking forward to, even if that is just having another day to watch a ladybug crawl over a piece of grass. 19:16 on the clock, 19:19 on the clock. I hope that you have a beautiful day today. Love, light, peace, personal responsibility, and all the good things. I will see you tomorrow, one way or the other, and we'll see what we get into there. But thank you for being here, and We got this.